to our 121st episode of the Gutenberg Changelog podcast. In today's episode, we will talk about Gutenberg 21.6 and 21.7, as well as about theme development, block themes, and all this good stuff. And I'm your host, Birgit Pauli-Haack, curator of the Gutenberg Times, developer advocate, and core contributor for the WordPress open source project, sponsored by Automatic. And with me is Anne Katzeff, a dear friend of mine. She joins me in this episode. She was here before on the show, and she's a longtime WordPress theme builder, educator, and artist, and a longtime friend of mine. We previously connected on WordPress meetup co-organizers in Southwest Florida, but that's ages ago. Anne has been on a podcast before, and it was episode 109, almost a year ago. So glad you're here, Anne. How are you today?
I'm good, Birgit. Thanks for inviting me. It's great to see you and reunite. I hope you're well.
I'm
I
good,
was
good.
just thinking I can't wait to catch up on all the WordCamp stuff
Mm-hmm.
that you and others have been posting. I've been immersed in two things recently, redesigning a client's very old website.
When you say very old?
Oh, it's still live, although it barely displays correctly because the code is so old. It uses custom templates from a custom theme that has some of the content baked into the code.
Oh, yeah.
So it's really hard to edit. The client has a real hard time doing that, as I do as well.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm rebuilding the site. I'm using a Cadence theme, and it's a whole new area for me. I'm seeing the pros and cons of that system. And I'm also redesigning my own website. I don't even want to tell you how long that's been since I designed it. It's built on Bootstrap. I do have a WordPress blog, so I have to update the Bootstrap part and the WordPress part.
Oh, okay. So you have the design and the styling is in Bootstrap, and you kind of massaged it into the WordPress so it looks seamless.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And people ask me, why don't you do the whole thing in WordPress? For me, I do occasionally build Bootstrap sites. So this is a way, it's kind of an excuse for me to keep current in what's happening in Bootstrap. So I'm using new tools like Figma for my prototyping. And once I get that finished, and we're nearing that point, I'll start rebuilding in Bootstrap, and probably I'll use the 2025 WordPress default theme for the blog part. So with both of these projects, I'm using these new tools and riding a learning curve, and it's all good. It's challenging and stimulating, and integrating the new with the familiar. So it's like my mind is like, oh.
Yeah, but it could be, it's a great exercise to kind of see, okay, how far can I kind of still rely on what I'm doing? And this cool new stuff is also good. So I know that Jonathan Bossinger, he's a coworker of mine, and he was one of the educators on the Learn team. And he has started live streaming. And this last live stream, he got a Figma design from a designer and now wants to create a block theme about it, and finds that there are no, like, do you know in the old days where you had a Photoshop to WordPress kind of?
Yeah.
He kind of had hoped that there is a from Figma to WordPress kind of thing, and there is, but you need to be very deliberate on how you set up Figma.
Exactly.
To make this work. So
God, I was just thinking about all that. That's so interesting. So, you have to have, they call it auto layout. And of course I don't. And I'm not going to redo all my stuff in Figma just to pray that whatever plugin I use will work. But that's what they recommend. Oh, well, it wasn't what I had planned. I wasn't going to do an automated thing, but now this kind of validates a reason why I can't. It's not quite there yet. Yeah, there are curious things in Figma, and there are like amazing things in Figma. So
It's
They're,
like any new tool. Yeah.
yeah.
It has your trade-offs, and you need to kind of unlearn a lot of things before you can learn. Yeah. So the VIP theme builders or designers, they actually have a process where they go from Figma to theme JSON, because they'll have
Oh,
websites where they, like you do, there's a component that's not WordPress and there's a component that's WordPress, or they have customers that have multiple different brandings for different things, but they're all in Figma, but then you can do themes, and then that theme you can use a plugin that you can then export your design decisions on fonts and on colors and other things to migrate to theme JSON, and then immediately
good.
kind of start up a block theme. I'm going to find that, dear listeners, I'm also going to find the link for you, not only for Anne.
Thank you.
We had David Bowman on the live Q&A maybe 2 years ago, where he kind of demonstrate that on. So we will share those in the show notes and kind of see how that, I don't know how that kind of works with you and how you approach Figma, but it might be a good way to see if
Yeah,
that works for you. Yeah.
that would be fascinating as
Hmm.
well. I mean, I am using variables
Hmm.
for some of my styles. I'm limiting it because, again, of the learning curve, but I've got so far the color palette and very basic typography assigned to, text and the 6 head levels
Hmm.
to match up with a bootstrap scenario. And I'm thinking ahead even beyond that. Well, how will then I translate that into a WordPress theme? So I like the complication. I don't
Yeah,
mind it.
yeah, no, the complexity is really intriguing, because all of a sudden you kind of have all these pieces that fit together very well,
Hmm.
and you feel like, oh, this is genius.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish I could remember the guy's name, but I watched a YouTube video. Maybe I'll find it and I'll send you a note about it. But he
Hmm.
explained the Figma variables really well. And he has maybe an hour and a half tutorial that I've yet to just scratch the
Hmm.
surface.
Yeah, I know that Justin Tadlock, who
Mm,
is our theme guru,
mm,
I would
yeah.
call him, he is working on a design system where he combines the color palette and the fonts with semantic kind of. So he's not saying, okay, this is the main color, this is the background color, foreground color, but he's saying, okay, this is the text color, and has a separate design system that's built into theme, that he builds into theme JSON. So
Oh, great.
he can actually switch out a theme if the theme actually follows the same standards in there. He just can change colors, and then the theme looks totally different. Yeah. So
Exactly.
yeah,
That's kind
that's
of the idea behind the variables
yeah,
to
exactly. Yeah,
definitely try to be semantic and
yeah. Michelle Hunt did a good follow of from atomic design to the design system at WordCamp US, and the video is online. And she also had a similar custom color setting design system in theme JSON actually built into.
ah,
Yeah, so
good
I of
stuff.
course I'm gonna share all that with you and our listeners.
Yeah, we
So
can't anticipate everything that comes up in these conversations, can we? We
no, no,
don't have
no,
all the
but
links right here.
yeah,
So,
but at least I know where I can look.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm writing a blog post and I'm still a little bit stuck in that, but on how to use Playground to build a theme demo, where you can have content like to showcase your theme, and then create a Playground blueprint to share with your clients or your customers, so they can test WordPress with the theme and some content in there,
Great idea.
so they know how the patterns look, or the color scheme, or how the front page can look. And because sometimes you have this problem that you have a theme and you see that there was a front page, but when you install the theme, it doesn't look like that. Yeah, so
Yeah.
so that's kind of part where theme builders or Even agencies can really make some great showcase for their products. And I'm using Playground, but there is actually the importer. So you can put all the content into your local site and then export it and then import it into Playground with the blueprint. Kind of have the XML file on GitHub and it kind of pulls it in. And you can do all the settings there. What's the front page like? Is it a blog post or a blog theme, or is it a page, or is it which one is the news page then? And so you can build that all out. And now I'm kind of the missing piece is still navigation. So the
Oh,
normal
yeah.
navigation, if you just build the pages, it automatically builds the page layout
Hmm.
or the page list layout. But if you
Yeah.
do a custom navigation mark, it doesn't get imported yet
Mm.
because somehow is the parser doesn't know that those links need to be transferred to the new site. So it didn't work right. But I'm working on it, and I know that the Playground people are really busy on doing
Mm.
stuff, doing this and fixing things. So that's what I'm working on. And
So it sounds like you're using it also as a prototyping tool.
you could,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Is it like the concept, like a live link that you can share with a client and they can view it?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. You could also do the prototype thing with, well, you can share, you can share it with the client, and every client who got the link get the same
Right.
site. Yeah. So
Is it stored in GitHub?
no, it's stored in memory on the browser.
Ah,
It's a
okay.
Playground is a tool that runs WordPress in the browser. It's kind, you don't need a
Okay.
server, you don't need a database, you just need the playground.wordpress.net,
Okay.
and then you have a WordPress site. And then with blueprints that are configuration files in JSON, written in JSON, you can say, okay, which plugin do I want to install? What's the landing page? Which theme do I want to have in there?
Ah,
And do I want to have additional content in there? Yeah, so you can use it to showcase your plugin and or your theme. And we use it for all kinds of different things as well. And
ah,
on the team, we use it to test PRs from Gutenberg and
ah.
Track that are not
Huh.
merged yet, that are not yet in a version of that. So you can just kind of isolate the whole thing and just test this particular thing.
Oh,
That's really
okay.
cool. And I'm going to have a talk at WordCamp Dinya about using Playground, GitHub, and the great block theme
Okay.
to change themes without touching code. Yeah, so that
Okay.
making changes to the themes through the editor. So if you need a new template or need to change your template, change or add colors and all this kind of things. But then at the end, you export it to GitHub and it creates the PR that then one of your developer is going to merge with the theme where all the other
Oh,
developing things are happening.
that sounds so
Really cool.
cool.
Yeah.
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 Well, clearly I haven't used Blueprint very much.
Or Playground.
Or
Yeah.
Playground,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
Yeah. It
But
sounds
I
like a
get
great
what you
tool.
said before, yeah, with I like the complexity. So,
Yeah.
okay, let's see how complicated and easy we can make it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think we could now head into Gutenberg 21.6. So WordPress 6.9 is coming. Let's talk a little bit about WordPress 6.9. We will have other shows about that, of course. But just to get the timing right, we are about 4 weeks away from beta 1, and
Mhm.
beta 1 is pretty much feature freeze. So, and it will all have in there 15 Gutenberg releases. Yeah, from 20.5 when
Mhm.
WordPress 6.8 came out, 20.4 was the last one. So 20.5 until 21.9. That's
Oh,
pretty much
okay.
15. But there was a period of Gutenberg releases for about four months, yeah, when not a whole lot of features came in. But that is going to be offset that in the last 2 or 3 releases, there will be a ton of things in there. So we will change our cadence from having 2 Gutenberg plugins in a show to one and do another. Yeah, I hope we can go back to every other week instead of every month recording.
Mm-hmm.
So, and what we are talking today is about Gutenberg 21.6 before I go in there. So release is going to be December 2nd. So everything you need, and beta 1 is October 21st, and in between are release candidates. And release candidate 1, I think, is November 2nd or something like that. So by that time, we hopefully have all the developer notes in there, and Source of Truth will come out there at the same time or a week later. So just so you can prepare, plan, or not. I'm a planning person, so I always need to know the dates.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I, I always have, most of the time I have a plan. So when something
Yeah.
changes, I know what to change. Yeah. So, well, let's head into the Gutenberg 21.6. It has a few enhancements, and we start with the data views enhancement, and one of them seems to be a minor thing, but there is a card layout in the components for the data forms where you can support combined fields and show the description in there, and that's fairly new. So there's also a storybook documentation out for those plugin developers who are kind of want to try out the new data views and the data forms. Data form is really where people then can enter stuff, filtering and all that. That's all in data forms. And then there's also in the data views, we have the grid layout is now a little bit more flexible. You can have it without a title, and then you have the actions are available on hover, which is quite nice. But
Yeah, I like
yeah.
that. That's a
Mhm.
wonderful enhancement. And of course, it got me into another path of about grids and
Uh-huh.
thinking about using the grid layout for the post template. So I started to play around with that, got lost in that for about an hour. So far, I don't really see an advantage for using the grid over the default grouping with columns, but
Mhm.
I'll play around with it a bit more.
Yeah, there is actually a more interactive way of using the grid layout in the Gutenberg experiments.
Mm.
So that might be, so when you use the Gutenberg plugin, there's one menu item under Gutenberg that says experiments, and there are
Oh,
probably 10 different experiments amongst
oh.
them the new blocks that are in there,
Hmm.
but they will come out of experiments hopefully soon. There's also the data view usage for posts, because right now it's only a site editor with pages where you can use the data views, but also use them for posts. And there are a ton of experiments, and one of them is interactive grid layout, where you can drag and drop things,
Oh,
and you can
really?
use it, yeah, for different kind of content as well. So you have pictures in there, you can have a cover in there, and you can have just text in there, and in
Uh-huh.
each grid, and then you can also stretch it out over 2 rows,
Oh, yeah.
or 2 columns or two
Uh-huh.
rows kind of thing, and
Oh,
it kind of
cool.
merges all that. So it's really cool, but it hasn't gotten any updates
Hmm.
for a while. It's still in experiments because of our other priorities, but it's definitely, you see what's coming. That's one thing also to kind of, okay, how can this be improved? Yeah,
Hmm.
and kind of, yeah, let the developers know. That's, yeah, I like the grid layout too. Yeah, you can
Yeah,
do some interesting things with it.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were updates to the core data packages, but they are so developer oriented and so technical that if you're interested, then just check out the changelog of 21.6. But 21.6 has one new thing, and that's, well, it was actually in 21.5, but that's the accordion block. And I cannot talk often about it, often enough about it. I'm really happy that the accordion block made it into Gutenberg now. It's still under experiments, so you need to switch it on. I think it's the second from the top on that page. I had a plan to create a post about all the experiments that are in Gutenberg, but yeah, that kind of fell to the wayside.
Well, it's constantly changing, I would think.
Yeah, that's one thing, but it's
Yeah.
also kind of, oh yeah, well, let's do the other cool stuff too. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of discussion about the new accordion
Mhm.
features, and I checked them out. Of course, I had to look at that. And I still think the UI needs some tweaks, although, of course, I think the add button is a no-brainer. That's a really good addition. So I was looking at the accordion from a user point of view, not on the front end, but the back end. And those what do they call them? Panes. They're tucked right next to each other. I
Panels,
think
yeah.
just
Hmm.
from a UI point of view, it would be
Hmm.
nice to add a little bit of space between them because I had trouble acclimating to how does this actually work and what's going on. I
Hmm.
hit this plus sign and then it opens up. So just a little bit more tweaking on that, I think, would be
Yeah, I think
a good
that's
thing.
also something to think about with block style variations, where you can actually put that in a style tab.
Sure.
And then I did some discovery on that because I wanted to figure out how many different designs can I come up with. My AI can come up with that I can put in
Oh,
a
right.
style variation.
How many did you discover?
Well, right now I did it all by hand and kind of do
Okay.
the discovery because I had the whole same thing. But I had too much white space. I did a background into the panel, and
That's
then
a good idea. Yeah.
I had a white space there, and so I needed to reduce the margin to get rid of
Gotcha.
that white space. But yeah, I think that's the design decisions. It's so new that there are
Mm.
not all the supports are in there. I think you can have some dimension support there with spacing and margins, so you can definitely see that in the inspector controls and the sidebar
Hmm.
of the block. You just need to make sure that you select the right block because there are four
Hmm.
blocks. One is the accordion, that's the wrapper, and then you have the header, and then you have the panel, and then you have the content. Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts that if you create a style variation for that, people can just with one click
Oh, okay. Yeah.
change the design of things.
Hmm.
Yeah, kind of make it either an FAQ or pricing or whatever, yeah,
Hmm.
to do that. So style variations are really a cool feature, yeah, I
Hmm.
discovered. So the next thing is, well, the query loop block had a broken placeholder and it's fixed now.
And that's on small screens, right?
Yeah, that's from small
Yeah.
screens, yeah, on mobile, pretty much, yeah. The next one is, oh, core commands. So commands is the command palette where you do Control K and then you get a little, like on a Mac, you get a little things and you can say open site editor or add a page or something like that. And now you can now return to the dashboard, yeah,
Okay.
because you're 5 levels deep in the site editor and now you want to go back to your post. You just open up Control K and say return to dashboard or just
Right.
type in dashboard and then it kind of gets you to that place. It also has some permission checks, so if you are not allowed to go there, you're not going
Mm.
to go there. So that
Hmm.
was kind of missing before. It was kind of, yeah, wherever you go, you go.
Oh,
Yeah,
so it
isn't
was like
it?
a backdoor
Yeah,
access to
it's a kind of, yeah.
wow.
Uh, but it's all in the admin. There's nothing on the front end, but I think it
Hmm.
will. So the command palette there's in 28, so in the next one, there will be additional commands. So command palette, you can register commands with code. So plugin can say, okay, if that's a team plugin with team members, you could say add a team or yeah, update team or something like that. And then because it's just a one-liner kind of thing, you could also then tap it into the abilities API. That's kind of the next step. It's not going to be in 6.9 for sure, but it is something that you can kind of daisy chain some
Hmm.
workflows, yeah,
Hmm.
or tap into an AI ability kind of
Okay.
API that then lets you also do some AI stuff there. So it's kind of that interface that you will be in the future more often if you so choose to. But I think that's a really interesting development
Mm.
there because right now, you always have to remember, okay, which menu is it in and where do I go and what's the name of it? Yeah, is it template parts? Is it pattern? Is it templates? Is it pages? Yeah, what's the
I tend to
difference?
click on my little picture icon to get back
To the
to
dashboard.
previous screens.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
That's what
Well,
I tend to do because
yeah,
I don't know
that's what
how
I do
else to
too.
do
But
it.
yeah, how
Yeah.
often do you do it? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And now you can just do Control K
Okay.
and
I like
dashboard.
that.
And then you're
Yeah.
back there and you don't have to do 15 plus things. Yeah. So no, I like the command palette anyway, but now it has so much perspective in the future.
Yeah. Yeah.
The next thing is about global styles. And we talked about, no, we didn't talk about it. So you can now, in the theme JSON file, you can now have support for form elements, like the inputs or the inputs on your site or the drop downs and selects. So if you create forms and you can style them through the theme JSON file, you don't have to do custom CSS for that anymore. Many theme builders ask for this too, because it's,
Mhm.
well, what's a website without a contact form? Yeah, what's a website without a,
Mhm.
yeah, get me your quote or something like that. You need some
Mhm.
forms, and then you want to style it. You don't want to kind of have another CSS file in there if you have those tools for theme JSON. And oh, yeah, the developer blog, What's New for Developers in September edition that came out about 2 weeks ago, had some code examples on how you can put that in your theme JSON. Yeah, how you phrase it and
Ah,
all that. Yeah, so
okay.
it's really cool. It shows you how to, so you to get into the elements section of your theme JSON, and then you have text input, and then you can do borders, colors, typography, or select, yeah, do and have the different colors for text and background. For instance, that's the examples in the developer blog.
So more and more we can do things in theme JSON that will allow us to use additional CSS or custom CSS less and less.
Yes, that's one thing.
Okay.
And you could actually write CSS in a custom
That's
setting.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's such a habit to go to additional CSS and just fix something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or kind of be a
I
little
have
bit.
very little, well, actually this comes up later in the changelog, so I won't get too deep into it, but I have very little in my additional CSS these days.
It's good.
It's
Yeah.
just those few instances where I just can't do it in theme JSON.
hmm Yeah, it's still not particularly all covered there. Yeah. So now we come to the bug fixes, and one was the randomization of the gallery block doesn't work when the light box is enabled. But you had a question there.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking about that randomization. I didn't know about that bug, but
Uh-huh.
in the projects that I've been working on, I noticed the lack of navigation in
Yeah.
the light box. So I know that that's deep in the works now. And look, I just recently went to the PR and it looks like a lot of progress has been made. I think they're about to say this is a done deal, or maybe they
hmm
already have.
hmm
So that's really good because otherwise you would do all the things you needed to do to enlarge the image, but you couldn't get to the next image in the gallery. Well, that's not really a light box, is it?
hmm Yeah, well, everybody, the light box, I think, are around for 15 years now. So
Yeah,
everybody has a different idea. But yeah,
right.
it was definitely missing navigation to just kind of use it as a slider that you can slide
Exactly.
forward
Yeah.
and backwards without having to you click on the X and then you're at the gallery and then you have click on the next pictures and then go it up. So it was a little tedious after the third one. Everybody escaped
Yeah.
that. Yeah. And PR that Anne is talking about is the 62906. If you want to go on GitHub and check it out, 62906. And yeah, they're pretty far with it. It's some nice previous and next, and you get some. Yeah, I tested it too. Yeah, with
Hmm.
Playground, you kind of do Gutenberg and then the PR, and then you can play around with it. And that was quite nicely done. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have given input, not only from the developers or from the contributor, but also from other developers and from the accessibility, because that was, I think,
Yeah.
the first part was the accessibility part was it didn't kind of pan out. So they did some interesting.
Oh, were the
some
arrows
words.
too small
Yeah,
or something?
errors too small,
Ah,
no area label, no announcement to the screen
ah,
reader. Yeah, there's a lot of
okay.
things that need to happen for accessibility there.
I'm
And
deep
then,
into accessibility these days. I mean, with this client's site being redesigned, her brand colors don't cut it for
mhm.
accessibility. And I don't know how, but I somehow convinced her to tweak the web colors to meet the accessibility requirements. I think I was so happy.
I
That.
imagine, yeah,
Oh my God. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
a big thing.
Yeah,
Big
you don't
thing.
want to get them into trouble or yeah, have their user a less optimal experience. Yeah.
Exactly.
So I think we talked about it, applied styles and classes to the experimental form block. That's part of the getting the element section into the theme JSON part. There
Yeah.
is an experimental form block though. So if you have the Gutenberg plugin installed and go to experiments, one of the 15 choices there is form block. So you can actually create a
Ah,
form from those blocks in your editor. But most people actually have a separate plugin for their forms. So I'm not
yeah.
sure how expanded that's going to be used.
Mm,
Yeah, that's pretty much we are through the bug fixes, and then there's
okay.
one fix so much. So the zoom out, we had this in 6.8. There was
Yeah.
a problem that when you have the show template, you couldn't show the template when you were in zoom out, and now they actually put it out. It didn't work. You just didn't get it to it, and now they actually they now fixed it that the zoom out is disabled when the show template is toggled off. You need both. You need to in zoom out because when the show template is off, the renderer doesn't see the main section of the page because that's all the content anyway. Yeah, so but zoom out needs to have that main section. So it's all kind of was a little bit wasn't consistently kind of working. So now they finally fixed it. Anything else? No, I think we're through with 21.6,
Yeah.
except there's some block library, image block.
Oh, yeah. That got me thinking how useful it would be to have a live updating with the alt text. Because if I change the alt text in the media library for an image, it doesn't automatically sync to where it's being used in a page or a post.
Oh,
I have
okay.
to I have to click on the image in the page or the post and replace it with the same image with the revised alt
Oh,
text.
okay. Yeah, yeah.
So I was thinking, wouldn't it be nice if that was all synced together?
Hmm.
And then that got me down another path. So maybe you have the answer to this question. So I noticed for, well, quite a long time, I've been noticing that when you're in the image library and you click on an image, the fields differ depending on your media library mode. If it's list and you click on an image, you get a different set of
Oh,
metadata or
really?
fields versus a grid.
Uh-huh.
And I think it's with the grid. Yeah, there's no alt text option from a list mode, but there is from a grid mode. And so do you know why those fields differ?
No, I have no idea.
I don't know either, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, well, it's interesting that you actually noticed that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I always have my media library on grid, so I'm not.
yeah, me too.
I don't see the difference. But you're right. Yeah, I know that the contributors are working on the media library for the admin redesign, and I think it would be good to talk to them about it
Okay,
because they also will have a grid view and a list view because the
okay.
data views actually support that. Yeah, so to make sure that definitely needs to be consistent, that all the fields
I'll
are available here.
maybe in the outreach channel I'll put it out there and see if anyone
Yeah.
has
Yeah,
that
or
on
we
their
wait
plate.
until 6.9 after
Right.
6.9, yeah. Because I think, that's where it's not for 6.9. We are all hoping for the data views coming into 6.9, but the data views will be in there, but I don't think that the admin design will come in for 6.9. That's just
Hmm.
not enough time. Yeah,
Right.
it's now only 4 weeks, so okay. So You have question. Oh, you have another question in there
Do I
about,
know?
yeah,
Okay.
about the create block theme and style editing.
Create block theme. Oh, right. Create block theme. So it's interesting. I haven't looked at it in a month or so. It's
Mhm.
good to sometimes look at it with fresh eyes.
Yeah.
And it looks like there used to be two paths to editing the styles. And it looks like those have been eliminated. You were once able to edit via this path, appearance, editor, design, styles. When you get to design and you click on styles, there's no longer the option to edit them from that point. And then the other way would be from a page or a post. I no longer see the CBT, the create block theme wrench. I see it only when
On the
I'm
site
in
editor.
templates, template parts, synced patterns. And another interesting thing, I mean, it's a lot of information here, but let me try to slow down. So both of those previous paths gave access to that full featured, what I call the full featured Create Block theme panel. It had all the things that you can do with the Create Block theme plugin.
Mhm.
Now, the other thing I noticed is if you click on a page as if you're editing it, like a normal person would edit, regular person, not normal, but regular person, the wrench is no longer there. However, if I go through the full site editor path and click on a page, the wrench appears that way. So it's just
Mhm.
this inconsistency. And I'm a pretty well-versed user, and it was a
Mhm.
little confusing. It's like, well,
I
why
imagine
can
so.
I get to the full feature
Mhm.
panel this way and not that way?
Yeah. So one is that the page post editor, when you go from WP admin, posts and pages, goes in a slightly different editor mode than
Right.
go into the appearance and editor. When I first listened to you, I thought it wouldn't be related to the create block theme because with the site editor, we also have two different paths to access styles. Yeah, one is through editor and then styles. There's no design anymore. It only says styles. It's with the navigation styles, templates, and patterns. When you click on styles there, you have access to the same thing that comes if you are in the edit mode on a template or on a page. You also on the right hand side, there's a styles interface. Both are now kind of pretty much on par with the features. So before a couple of months ago, or maybe even longer, there was a discrepancy between what you could do on the right-hand side in the styles and if you come from the left-hand side. So, but that is pretty much eliminated. The only difference now is only how the style book looks, but it's really marginally. Yeah, but we have one thing that comes with the next plugin release that we're going to talk about is the additional CSS. You were only
Oh, yeah.
accessing on the right-hand side sidebar and not on the left-hand side, and that has been fixed now. So you can
Okay.
get to the additional CSS from both sides. But the Great Block theme, yeah, has changed. So the Great Block theme plugin only works in the site editor. So if you come
Okay.
from the pages or from the posts on the WP admin, you don't have access to it.
Right.
So you only have it in the site editor. And I think that makes sense because
It
that's
does.
what you
Yeah.
do with that, yeah. Because that's the place where you actually would edit a theme
Right.
component. So it also had changed the right-hand side sidebar. When you click on save the changes to the theme, you get
Hmm.
additional checkboxes. What
Sure.
exactly do you want in your theme? So that is
Hmm.
definitely was an improvement there because it also included some localization from text and in that
Right.
regard, yeah. And you could also kind of eliminate the navigation IDs and all that.
And
Uh,
I brought another issue up with the team several months ago, which is the CBT, which I'm calling it CBT, Create Block Theme Plugin.
mhm.
That's my shorthand.
Yeah.
The page for it from the administration
Hmm.
sidebar. When you go to it directly from the sidebar, those options differ from the full site editor pathway to it. In my mind, all of that should be the same. You should have the same access to the same features.
Well, on that settings page, the only thing that you get from there is actually what you want to do. Do you want to create a theme? Do you want to create a from scratch? Do you want to clone it, or do you want a child theme? All the other features are actually in the site editor that need to be connected with the site editor. So I don't think there's a whole lot of benefit from it to put it in a settings page that has no connection to any of the other features that are in the site editor.
I hear you. I understand that. I just like consistency.
Yeah.
I think it's less confusing when you have the same, it's a full page devoted to it. Why don't I have access to everything that I can do with it? That's my logic.
Because you need the editor too. The settings page doesn't have access to the editor.
I totally understand that. Yeah,
it's like why don't you have the font or dimensions in a settings page? Because it's not the editor that has that sidebar.
Okay, fair enough. All right.
Kind of that
this is why it's good to talk.
Yeah. But I hear you with all the questions that we have there. The inconsistency is definitely something. Inconsistent user interfaces overall, the whole site editor. I think there have been great strides made in the last 4 months to make this all more consistent, have all the support for all the blocks, like the border and fonts and dimensions, that every block who needs it actually has it, because there were really some inconsistencies that why does the heading not have a font size or something like that, or color thing, when everybody else, every other block has it. But it takes a lot of perseverance to get through, I don't know, 60 blocks and kind of make them all consistent that have been built in the last 3 years.
Absolutely, So,
it's a lot of work. Let's get into 21.7. The release is going to be on Wednesday, tomorrow, September 24. We are recording this on September 23. So the listeners, when you listen to it, it will already be out, because we are not publishing it until Sunday, our episode. So let's get into it. We're doing that from talking through the changelog from the release candidate one that was published last week. So just if there are changes or what we didn't have in there from the final release tomorrow. Okay, this release has quite a few additional updates on the block commenting thing. So that's part of the Gutenberg Phase 3 collaboration phase, where you have one is from the collaboration phase, one is synchronized editing, where multiple people are working on the same post at the same time, which is a bit scary, but it works in Google Docs. But we are not there yet. But what already is in the works and has been for a while is the block level commenting. So you can you're in your block editor and you click on, and anybody else who has access to it can go in there and say, okay, in this paragraph, change a comma, an acronym, or wording kind of thing, put it in a comment, and then you can resolve it in a comment. So the comments show up in the right-hand side in the sidebar, and each block that has a comment has a little icon that there are comments in there.
Oh, wow.
And then you can add a comment by going to the block settings, block options drop down, where you also have the grouping and the before and after. There's also now comment on the block. And then you can start commenting on it. And then it shows up in the sidebar. And then other people who are also come back tomorrow or something like that can answer that, or you can also resolve it. So there are quite a few improvements on that. So first is we only talk about two of them. One is to render the comment content. So it's rendered in the content completely. So it doesn't, and it's a HTML kind of thing. So you can put in links in there without having all the HTML, kind of anchor links there. That's one thing. And the other one is that they use a text area auto size. Up until now, you couldn't, you could write in it, but it kind of would go underneath the
Yeah.
box. You had to manually kind of increase it. But now it's auto sized. So that's really
Okay.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I know you are a single site producer,
Uh-huh.
so you probably might not have a whole lot of use case for that. But I can
Oh,
see
I can
that.
see the use for it.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
for
Uh,
sure.
would you kind of work with your clients on that, or rather with another coworker, like a developer or something like
I
that?
think to educate my clients about the feature,
Hmm.
and then they could work together on content. It's a nice collaboration tool. But with any page or post, only one person can edit at a time. So there's that, which is a useful barrier, unlike a simultaneous thing. So I can definitely share that with people, let them know about it.
Hmm. So there's now the ability to reopen resolved comments, to see enable inline comments for published post. Yeah, so if you up
Oh,
until now when
wow.
you was published, all the comments would go away, you wouldn't see them. So there was a lot of thought going into that, how it's actually used from the previous version. So
Actually, my brother uses WordPress. He's a writer and he works with a rather large company. So
mhm,
I'll let him know about this upcoming feature because I don't know how they manage the editing of content, and
mhm.
it would be good if they could do it right there in
Yeah,
in
yeah, it's kind
WordPress.
of it could eliminate one step. So when you work with a team on a content, you normally go into or we go with the developer blog and other blogs, we go into Google Docs, write the draft, have all
Yeah,
the communication in there, including the comments there. And then once all the things are resolved, you copy paste it over
yeah,
to WordPress, and that sometimes gets you into trouble. And that copy paste step and the reformatting that is necessary kind of could be eliminated with something like that. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
exactly.
And that
Back in the
definitely.
day
Mhm.
when I was a print designer and we used InDesign, there is a plugin, so to speak, for InDesign where content writers could do all their magic, all their writing right in. I think it's not InVision. I'm not remembering, but it doesn't matter. Same concept. Yeah. What I really liked about it as a designer, they had no access to the styling. They couldn't
Yes.
change the colors of the size.
Yeah.
I
It,
really like that.
yeah.
The head
Yeah.
is just leave the head alone. It's 24 pixels or in
Yeah.
print design points. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get this. Yeah. That is actually coming also to WordPress with the write mode. Yeah, it's kind of a content
Mm.
only mode
Hmm.
that you can have patterns in content only, and you can only change wording on that, but the rest of it is even the structure of the pattern is locked. So there's a design mode and a write mode. It also
Hmm.
streamlines kind of the process because you're not distracting by all the design
Hmm.
features you could do. Yeah, so I really like
Exactly.
that, but that's coming.
Same idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's also, yeah. So, yeah, in 21.7, there's also quite a few updates to the data form, especially data forms,
Yeah.
also data views. But it has to be kind of to make the form handling kind of bringing up to par to what actually other forms are doing. So the form component has quite a few additional updates in there. So it's
Okay.
be it
Yeah.
the radio control, be it the Boolean field types with a toggle, yeah, having a URL field that can be in the field control, having a phone field,
Oh,
and all
wow.
this. So it kind of is a build out of what you actually expect when you do forms, but it's all in the data view. So it will be in the admin section, not on the front end kind of thing.
Excellent.
It's kind of so
Yeah.
think about when you have a post, a page where you have a quick edit, yeah, where you can change a few things. That is the form that this is working on, yeah, or what the people are working on is kind of okay. In the admin, we have a user putting data in. What controls do we have available for that? It's
Okay.
not on the front end or something.
Right.
or in the block editor. Yeah.
Okay. So this is just for quick view?
Well, it's kind of it has a better panel for that. The whole data views has, I think, Matthias talked about
Mm-hmm.
that in one of his blog posts on the Make Core blog about the different building blocks of the new admin design. And one
Mm-hmm.
of them was the infrastructure and what's on the panel. So thinking
Hmm.
about what are the rooms in the house. Yeah, you have a kitchen that is differently furnished than the living room. Yeah, and you need the different tools in there. And the form is a tool you can actually create a form that is then triggered through a modal. Yeah, or
Mm-hmm.
you can open up another panel on the right hand
Mm-hmm.
side, kind of the data view.
Oh,
So those are all decisions that the developer is going to make. So plugin developers, for most of are plugin developers or core developers, and
mhm.
then you have different tools available for different use cases. Yeah,
Hmm.
but you always need a form, right? If
Yeah.
a user is going to change something. So depending on how much space you need, quick edit is just a very limited,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and this is going
Abbreviated.
to be
Yeah.
a little bit more comfortable
Okay.
to
Yeah.
do. Yeah,
Huh.
it's really interesting to see it
Yeah.
all come together and how granular the whole, yeah, development process is. Yeah. So the next ones are kind of navigation pieces
Yeah, I
in the
noticed
navigation
the
block.
the
Yeah.
changing add page to create page, and it seems like such a small thing, but it's significant. I like that one. That's a good change.
Yeah, and it reminds me, I did some support in the forums of WordPress forums, and there was one person who had trouble distinguishing between creating a pattern and
Yeah.
adding a pattern.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's for mere mortals, I would think
Yeah,
it's the same. Yeah, I add a page. Yeah, let me put the con or but the pattern is you create a pattern that you can reuse, or you add an existing pattern to the page. Yeah, so it's
exactly.
kind of that. Yeah, and this is pretty much similar. Yeah, to add a page
Exactly.
or
Yeah.
create a page. Yeah, so add a page would be a page link that you add from your existing page, and create a page is okay, I want that link, but I don't have the page yet. And now you get a button that says create the page. Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, in the write mode, it's going to be hidden. Yeah. So
And you
this,
were asking me to check
yeah,
on the status with the navigation block,
yeah.
and I don't see anything that's changed. If you edit the navigate via the navigation area, so you go appearance, design, navigation, the UI seems to be the same as it has been for months, which is, in my opinion, ugly and confusing.
Mhm.
But if you edit via the design area, so if you just stop at appearance design and click on the navigation there, it's so much more aesthetically pleasing. It just makes for a more enjoyable experience. It's
Mhm.
attractive and
Mhm.
intuitive. So I know this has been on their plate for a while. And when I say them, I mean all these wonderful WordPress team developers. Maybe a good place to start improving this UX is to somehow merge what we're
Mhm.
seeing in the design UI with the navigation UI.
Yeah, yeah.
I
No, I
don't
get
know.
you. Yeah, I when I was creating my theme demo, I had the same. I couldn't do anything with the. Well, I saw the dark side of the site editor. It's the dark menu, and on the right hand side. So when I go into a template header and just click on the navigation, it opens up the sidebar on the right hand side, and there
Gotcha.
you can do add blocks or add another page link, and it's very pleasing to kind of add to that. Yeah, that
Exactly.
part you don't have on the right hand side or on the left hand side in the dark area of navigation. All you can do is, I think, click on edit and then you go somewhere, but
Yeah.
it's the isolated navigation, and it's kind of plucked on top of
Yeah.
the
Exactly.
page, and
It's
it's
just
kind of,
this
yeah, you don't see it in
very
context.
nondescript
Yeah.
piece of navigation plopped on at the top of the screen,
Yeah,
on
and,
top of the
and you can't
content
design
area.
it. You
Yeah.
don't see it in
No,
context. Yeah, so yeah,
exactly.
it's definitely something to think about. Yeah, in the next few versions to come.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there was this big, or that issue that Matthias wrote about what other new blocks do we need?
Oh,
Um,
yes.
yes, and Justin Tadlock kind of reversed his stance on what needs to be in core, and he wrote
Okay.
off the Gutenberg Times on why we need new blocks, and that is so theme developers can actually prepare for that out of the box. Yeah, they don't have to check is a accordion available. Yeah,
Mm.
from
Hmm.
I don't know the other 15 plugins that have accordions and how to style it. There is one in core, and that's what my theme is styling. The same with a table of contents block, or there will be. So they are working on grading the table of content ready for
Mm.
coming out of experimental stage, which it has been for I think 3 years now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so, but there were no resources to kind of attribute to the table of content block.
So
And
would
there
this
were,
be something you could use in a blog post to identify the sections of the blog post itself?
yeah,
And they would be anchor links to
mhm,
that section? Oh,
yeah,
nice.
that's the
Very
table of contents
nice.
block. Yeah, and if you
I
use
know a
the,
use of that.
oh yeah, if you want to use for
Several of
that.
my own blog posts.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you don't have Gutenberg installed, the plugin installed, you don't have that block. Yeah, because it's only available in Gutenberg and it's not yet in core, but there's a big push to hopefully get it into core. The implementation had some accessibility issues and then some
Mm.
usability issues. Yeah, but there was kind of the first version was in there, but then every and then there are other contributors tried to change it, but then they couldn't follow through on this because,
Mm.
yeah, and now maybe this time is the right time. And then there is a
Mm-hmm.
new block, it's called the terms query block. It's like the query block for post, but it
Mm-hmm.
also is for terms. So that's the categories and the
Oh,
tags. So you can list them
okay.
in a rolling blog in a post. So I need to see it how it works to kind of find a good use case for it. But we probably have that. It's already in Gutenberg, and it has an order by and with a single drop down and these kind of things. So
So
yeah.
it's almost like integrating. Could you integrate that on the same page as a category
Yeah, it could actually be a
query
list of
or just
categories
a list of,
with the descriptions and all that because it
yeah.
has the term blocks in there. Yeah, so you
Hmm.
can kind of so if you, for instance, if you have a parent category
Hmm.
and you have a blog post in that category, you can say, okay, I want underneath every single post, I want a list of all the categories for that
Hmm.
parent categories or the
Hmm.
children category, so people can navigate a little bit deeper into my content first.
I bet that it would impact SEO positively, right?
Well,
Wouldn't
yeah,
it
if you don't have
enhance?
too many
Yeah.
categories and too
Yeah.
many terms, yeah, because
Yeah.
that definitely, if you have too many terms, you get into
Mhm.
the duplicate content issues when
Yeah.
multiple terms of the same content in there. But that's a different story. Yeah. So, but it gives you more flexibility on how you can link deeper. That definitely is
Sure.
true. Yeah. Oh yeah, and then we mentioned that before that in Site Editor, always show the additional CSS button is now finally available in, and it will come to 6.9, is what we talked about before that did we talk about it? Well, with the Site Editor, you have a place where you can add additional CSS for your site
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
one what you know also from the customizer, yeah, from classic themes where you had additional css that wasn't in the theme. It was on the right hand side on the styles. Yeah, you could
Hmm.
add that, but when you were on the left hand side of the styles, you didn't have a way to add the additional css.
See,
So
now this threw me for a loop because I never noticed that.
mhm.
And I can't reconstruct the sequence of events from, I have a tutorial site using the 2024 theme, and it has just a little bit of additional CSS in it. So yesterday, when I noticed this and I explored, and I saw my additional CSS field disappear when I deleted its contents. And I was like, oh, that's not good. And it really threw me for a loop because I always have a backup. So I uploaded my theme backup and thinking it would be in theme JSON and reinstate itself, but it wasn't reinstated. So then I had to look at my revision history and find the spot where I was before I deleted it. It really unsettled me.
Yeah, I imagine. Yeah.
So
And
now if you're saying the additional CSS in the right sidebar is the same as what shows up in the, okay.
yeah. So if you said, okay, there must be another way to get to the additional CSS, you could have gone
Exactly.
to the right hand side. But that is such a, yeah, it kind of really threw quite a few people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
But why
it
didn't
makes
it show
people,
up in my theme JSON? That's what
because
I was.
it's not routed through theme JSON. It's
Oh,
user
wow.
content, so it's in the database. And when
Oh,
it renders the last item before the in the head with the styles. That's the last thing that is going to pull in. So it
oh,
overrides
oh,
everything else what you had in theme JSON, in the default, in the plugin. So
oh,
that's why it kind of doesn't show up in theme JSON, because it's a different level of customization. Yeah,
wow.
it's the last defense, so to speak, is the user-oriented stuff,
I'm
and
glad you
that
pointed this
will
out.
point in, will
Yeah.
pull in last. Yeah, you will
Okay.
see it. So if you go to view source, you see your additional CSS, the last style tag before you start with the content tags and all that,
Okay.
all the tags. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I can breathe now.
Yeah, but it shows you that it's really hard to kind of keep it all straight when you have multiple places where you can change styles, because the same thing will happen when you change. So you could change this appearance of a block for the whole site in the
Mm,
styles, and then you go further down, there's typography, layout, and then you have blocks. There you change how a block appears every time you use it. Yeah.
yeah.
But there's also a place when you have a paragraph on one page and you change the look and
Right.
feel of that paragraph through
Hmm.
the right hand side with the tools there. And
Sure.
that's two places. And the other place is theme JSON also kind of
Hmm.
controls how a block looks. Yeah. So
Yeah.
if something is not right, you have
Hmm.
to look in multiple places to find the
Yeah.
place. Yeah. Where
Yeah.
you can change it, or where it actually was controlled. So that's why the additional CSS is just another place to look and to kind of control this. But I think to eliminate the cognitive load, I think learning how to put custom CSS in the theme JSON is probably a good additional skill set to have, instead
Right.
of kind of take away, think about not doing the additional CSS.
Right.
Because the advantage is also it only will be loaded. So the additional CSS is always loaded on each page, even if the block or whatever you have is not on the page. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
but if you do it in theme JSON, it will only pulled in when that particular element or block is
Oh,
actually on page. So
okay.
it's actually a performance issues as well.
Mm,
Well, not a whole lot of people put a whole lot of in additional CSS, so I think it's negligent, but just the cognitive load that kind of eliminate another place to
right.
figure
And
that
that
out. Yeah.
ties into a whole other subject, not for now, not for
Hmm.
today, but CSS specificity.
Hmm.
That's a whole other thing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Gets very complicated.
Volumes of books have been written about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the command palette is getting another update with 21.7 that is make the navigation commands available on all screens. So you can now go into your tools menu on WP admin, hit Control K and say go to site editor. then you can kind of jump like that. You don't have to be in the editor to use the command palette. We talked about it before, but it's getting more and more in there. Oh, there is a nice template API change that it reads really non-ecstatic. It's kind of allowed template duplication plus the concept of active templates. That's
Oh, really?
something I would ask anybody who works with template to test out,
Okay.
because what it helps you is that you can have multiple single post templates on your site and only one is active. So if you have a plugin that kind of adds templates to your site, so through the template hierarchy that WordPress has, there are certain templates need to have a certain slug to be pulled automatically, right?
Uh-huh.
So the single post or the archive pages or that. But if you want to test out different kind of templates, right now what you do is use patterns for a certain template, and
Yeah.
you're not adding them to templates, but you're adding them to patterns.
Yeah.
But if you can do, okay, I have a single post template, and I also want to know how it looks without the featured image, to add another single
Uh-huh.
post template, and then you can activate each one of them. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
and that makes it for a
Okay.
much clearer proposition on what templates do and what patterns do. So, and that also when you have a plugin that adds a template, because plugins now can suggest or push templates into the template editor. Yeah,
Mm.
like WooCommerce, yeah, is going
Mm.
to do that.
Right.
Or when you have a theme, a team plugin or a business directory plugin, you can get the templates into your template editor so you can modify them, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
as a user. But you already have a team member custom post type template, so the plugin would override it. Yeah, but if
Yeah.
you can have multiple template duplication or multiple, not only two but more, you can just with the activation flag, you can say which one is
Uh,
the one that's going to be
uh-huh.
rendered on front page.
Uh-huh.
Does that
Uh-huh.
make sense?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So, and I'm totally excited about that.
Yeah. I can't. It'll take me down so many different paths. I won't get any work done for a month. I'll be busy exploring and testing. That's
No,
all
but
good.
yeah,
Yeah.
but Ella Van Dorp, one of the Gutenberg developers, has been working on that for so long. Yeah, and
Yeah.
when you go to the PR, it has, I don't know, 150 comments or something like that. Yeah, but it finally made it into the Gutenberg plugin
Oh, really?
release,
Okay.
and now
Yay.
we can test it before it goes into WordPress core in a month. So go and test it, please.
Okay.
Everybody here on the Gutenberg Changelog podcast needs to test this. And Aki Hamano, he's a contributor from
Oh,
Japan.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, he has a few things that really he contributed quite a lot to Gutenberg in the last year, and he introduced a new function called use commands, so you can register more than one command for the command palette, which is good, especially
Okay.
when you kind of think about kind of getting the abilities API kind of connected with the commands palette. So yeah, for developers, it's definitely something to check out how you can add additional commands to the command palette for your users. Yeah,
Hmm.
agencies
Wow.
probably can change some of the workflow hiccups that some of the clients
Yeah.
have. Yeah, if you can add a command to it, then you teach them to control K and use
Hmm.
something. So
Hmm.
that's definitely good.
A lot of bug fixes.
Bug fixes, yeah, data form fixes. Yeah, I don't think there's anything I wanted to point out except the global styles bug fix is that the border radius presets kind of had a little
Oh.
bug in there that it generated the wrong variable name
Mhm.
in pattern code, and that is definitely fixed. It
Yep.
works
Thank
correctly now.
goodness.
Yeah, it works good for them. In the block library, Accordion
Yeah.
now has a block gap support. I think that's what you are kind of thinking
Oh,
about.
sure. Yeah.
That is now in 21.7. And then you also have a term list drop down.
Oh, there was a limit? What is the new limit? Do we
I think
know?
it's now 100.
Oh, I was just thinking, yeah, 100 would be good.
Yeah.
And I would never get to 100, but someone might.
It takes
Why
it from
not?
10 to 100.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. That's quite a limit, 10.
well, you shouldn't use too many terms because
True.
each term creates another page, right?
Yeah.
And each page that needs to be indexed and doesn't
Yeah.
have a unique thing there.
Content only pattern?
Patterns, yeah. Yeah, that's definitely something to test is kind of added content in,
So the purple icon was taken away?
I think so, yeah.
Restore
Well, in the
purple.
right mode. Yeah, it's kind of that
Oh,
mode where you only can change certain things and not do design.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
Huh.
So unsynced patterns are actually content only by default. So when you add them to the page, you only kind of change content if it's in right mode, yeah. So you don't get distracted by certain things like
Okay.
edit. Yeah, if you want the pattern to be, it's unsynced, so it doesn't propagate the design over
Yeah.
every usage, but you still want to have a consistent layout. And then editors who use that in on the page shouldn't change the composition of the pattern, only the content. That's
Right.
and then there's a pattern content only experiment that makes the template parts section blocks. Yeah, that's was one thing that came out of section styles. That's in 6.6. I was WordPress 6.6 is that you have patterns that are actually sections, and you could style them through JSON files. And then you only get in the style section of the right hand side, you get, I don't know, 2 or 3 styles, and
Hmm.
the pattern changes its look and feel
Uh-huh.
according to the styles. But it was hard
Uh-huh.
to figure out what makes a pattern a section and what
Mm.
not. Yeah, so it ended up that every group block was actually a section. So the
Mm-hmm.
styles would apply to other group blocks as well that were not meant to do, but there is no way to say, okay, only for section styles I want these. So
Uh-huh.
this call for action or call for action block or book
Uh-huh.
kind of things. So it was a little confusing for the users to apply that. And some of the features, so in zoom mode, when you added a pattern, you had a little drop, kind of a fluid drop that would you could toggle through, not toggle, browse through all the styles that are can be attached to that pattern.
Oh.
Yeah,
Huh.
and those also needed to be sections, but it wasn't clear what does one pattern distinguish the other pattern as a section, and now they are trying to do that in an
Ah,
experiment and see how far it gets with
okay.
also the styling part. I don't know if all that makes sense what I'm saying, but
No, no, I
I hope it
understand.
does. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. I think that was it for 21.7 that I
Hmm.
kind of saw. Yes, that's it. Yeah, so now we're coming to, I think we're really out of time today with our episode here. So I wanted to talk about tabs, but I don't have we need to kind of have it in front of us. Yeah, so they are not. So one of the new blocks that is worked on is the tabs block,
Okay.
and the other one is the modal block or
Uh-huh.
the pop-up block is kind of when you have a trigger, you have a block for a trigger, and then when a user clicks on it, then a modal comes up and you
Uh-huh.
can fill out something. So that's also in an HTML standard, but there's no blocks there, and it definitely is a common use case for certain things. And those things are, and the same as tabs. So you have not as an accordion where you have one header and then the panel opens and then the next header is you have multiple tabs on top and
Yeah.
then the panel changes. That is also in the works. I hope it
Oh, nice.
makes it to the 6.9, but I'm
Hmm.
not quite sure it actually goes there because I haven't seen anything in the last week that kind of contributes that. But I might have been out of the loop there because there are so many things that going on
Yeah.
at the same time. And I'm waiting. I know that Anne McCarthy, she's working on the kind of what's the state of the development
Yeah,
now. But I hope that it comes out next week or something like that. And then we have it for the next episode.
good timing.
Yeah, so WordPress 6.9 comes with really a lot of good features
Yeah,
and also quality of life changes for the editor and for the flow of things. So I'm really excited about that.
great.
Yeah.
And wasn't there a reduction in the number of releases that was
Yeah.
decided to condense?
Yes, so in January, there was the
Mm,
initiatives when Automatic said, okay, we are going to stop contributing for a while. And then the core committers then decided, okay, if it's not that, we have one more release that was 6.8, and that would be the only release in 2025.
mm-hmm.
And then in May, Automatic decided to contribute again and kind of
Okay,
push everything further and then said, okay, then we can also have one more release this year,
okay.
and that's 6.9. And
I
that's what we are
see.
all
Okay.
building up to. That's also why there are so many
Yeah.
Gutenberg releases kind of put together into one of the into the major WordPress release. Normally it was kind of between 7 and 10, but now we have
Hmm.
15. But
Okay.
yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, but that was a good question. Yeah, not everybody kind of know they stopped, but did we start again contributing to
Hmm.
core? Yeah, yes, we did. Yeah,
Excellent. Well, I look forward to the next release.
we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we are at the end of the show. Thank you so much for going through that with me, Anne. It was great to talk to you again
I
and
know. It
to
was
have
great
you
to
on the
talk
show.
with you.
Yeah. As always, dear listeners, the show notes will be published on gutenbergtimes.com/podcast. This is episode 121. And if you have questions, suggestions, or news you want us to include next time, send them to changelog@gutenbergtimes.com. That's changelog@gutenbergtimes.com. And the show notes will have all the contact information for Anne, and it will be on, as I said, gutenbergtimes.com. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for
Thank you,
listening.
Birgit.
Thank you, Anne, for your time. And I hope you have a wonderful time in fall. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye.